Okay, great. So I'm going to do a video on getting an image upscaled properly so that you can print it as a DTF transfer. And so I have a request here from Anna, and hopefully her permission to do this video to help others. And I'm going to take this image and I'm going to prepare this for print. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to download the image. So I'm going to save it, put it in my downloads folder. And it's real important to stay organized and just name your images. So I'm just going to call this Jesus Loves Me OG for like the original. Okay? And then the very next step is to upscale it. So if I just take this into Photopea, and I'm going to try to show you this, so you can see what happens. So if I just take this into Photopea and I just do image size, and I change this to 300 pixels per inch, it's going to change the width and the height and scale that, So if I hit OK, let's do that. And I zoom in, and the way you zoom in Photopea is you do view, pixel to pixel. So that lets you see like the actual quality. You can see what are all these, I call these JPEG artifacts. And it's just a really messy image now. So what I've done is I haven't actually fixed anything. I've just made the image larger at really the same quality level. Okay? And let's just, just for comparison, let's just check again one more time. So if we look at our inches now, we're 21 inches. We don't need it that big. So, probably a good width to go with on any image is 15 inches. And 19.6, unless you have a 16 by 20 heat press, then that's probably almost too big. So we'll call that our destination size. And, again, looking at this pixel to pixel, which is really important. I think it's Control 1, Control 0, Control 1, Control 0. Oh, and it looks like I moved it accidentally too in something that I did. So Control 1, Control 0. I thought Control 0 zoomed out for me. Let's see. View. Fit the area. All right, so view. Fit the area is Control 0. All right. Control 0, Control 1, Control 0. All right. Sometimes, Photopea is a little... just a little bit buggy. It's an incredible application. I'm really impressed that it even works, and it does, So, all right, so let's do this. Let's change the image size until we see it be clear. So I'm going to take this down. We're going to work in pixels, and I'm going to take this down to what the original size was. I probably should just kind of revert. There's no reason to have scaled it all over the place. So let's open this. I'm looking at this, and my details panel says that I'm 1567 by 2048. Sorry for the rambling. I'm just thinking out loud and trying to explain all the pieces. So let's take this back down to 1500 and hit OK. So the pixels are what matter. And let's look at that pixel to pixel. And that looks fairly sharp. So this is kind of the first step in upscaling something, is get it down to the size that looks sharp. And I might even take it a tiny bit more just because I have a decent amount of pixels here to work with. Just to sharpen it up just a tad bit more, I'm going to do 1300. So I'm going down at first, which is a little bit confusing. All right, so I'm going to export this as a PNG. And I'm going to save that, and I believe it has put that in my desktop. So here's the JPEG image that we started with. Here's the PNG. Okay. And every image is different, so when you look at an image like this, you really have to decide what to do. And I think that I'm actually going to make the canvas size larger. So I'm going to give myself a little wiggle room around the outside. So I'm just going to make this 1400 by 1800. And then I want to put a solid color because I want this to match this background. I'm just going to pull that down below. So now I have a little bit of room around the image, which we'll take away again later. And I'm just going to export that as, again, as the PNG and save it. So now I've got two copies. I've got this one, and then I've got this one. And I'll just rename that and just stay organized. I've got to answer to my OCD. Okay, so now what we want to do is we're going to go to Upscale. So if we go to upscale.org, and this is just the upscaler that I'm recommending at the moment. You know, it's about to be 2026, and we're going to, you know, this is the one that I'm recommending for now. This might change in the future, but right now this is free. You know, just go to the desktop and then click on Windows, or, you know, or Linux. Mac, you have to pay. It's like $9.95 or $12.99 to buy it for Mac. Okay, so, you know, just install that application. Here it comes. I've already got it installed, so I'll just open it. And we're going to select this image and hit open. So this part is super easy. We just choose the size we want to upscale to. And I'm going to go a little bigger than what my destination size is. So my destination size is probably somewhere in this, you know, 4200 by 5400. The pixel dimensions are all that matters. The DPI part is just a flag. All it does is actually scale the pixels when you tell it, you know, increase the DPI. So don't worry about that so much. Focus on the pixels. So, you know, real easy math. You know, 42 divided by 3. So that's 14 inches wide. 54 divided by 3, about 18 inches tall. But I do have to remember I put a little bit of, you know, size around it. So we're going to go bigger than we need to, because it's going to make it easier to make a good cut of the image. So, you know, sometimes your computer matters, and what your computer can handle makes a big difference. I'm going to try this at 7,000 by 9,000 and see what happens. You know, I'm also recording my screen, and that's probably making my computer work a little bit harder. But I do have a really nice computer, so if it doesn't go that fast for you, it's just, you know, just be patient with it. I think a lot of that depends on your graphics card. So once you've done that, it's actually upscaled the image and named it Upscale. And I'm going to just take some of that off and make it simpler. And then we're going to try to open that back up with Photopea. So let's just open. I'm going to open the upscale one. And I'm going to close this one so that it doesn't struggle. So I just have this one open. And it looks a little bit pixelated in the preview when I'm looking at it. But if I look at it pixel to pixel, you're going to see how, you know, really quite incredibly sharp that is. And, you know, there's small little detail problems that you could sit here and paint out if you wanted to. If that was, you know, if this was really, really important and you needed it to be absolutely perfect, you could improve it. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to show you how to take this background off. So now we're going to select our magic wand, and we're just going to click once. And it's going to probably get most of what we need selected. That's one of the reasons I made that little area around. Now I'm going to hold shift and keep selecting the areas that I need to remove the background. So I'm just going all around the image and picking on everything that I think needs to come off. Okay. And then I'm just going to do select, modify. No, I want to select inverse. Okay. So now I've switched the selection from being around the outside to just being around the letters. So now I'm going to do select, modify, contract. And we just want to contract probably, you know, this is all relative to the size you're working at. We're working really large. And I'm just really concerned about having any little black edges around this. So I'm going to go 2 pixels. And it's thinking hard about that. I hit OK. And now I think if we zoom in, we'll be able to see that we're just inside. So we're getting like the sharpest. I mean, we lost a little tiny bit of the image. But we should be great. You know, we're losing little bits of things. Yeah, I'll Control Z that. I'm just going to do select, modify, contract 1 pixel. And I'm being patient with it because it's such a large image and it's having to do so much thinking to go all the way around this. I'm going to try hitting this OK button. But again, I'm just being patient. And let's look at that. Yeah, that's just inside. That 1 pixel, that's way better. All right, cool. All right, so now I'm just going to hit Control C. And hopefully that's got everything copied. I got something over here that's kind of bothering me. I just saw a little odd thing there, but it's not there. And then I'm going to do Control Shift V. And now I can turn this layer off. And I've got a sharp image. Control 1 to do pixel to pixel. And look at the real quality. Control 0 to zoom back out. And now I'm going to do image trim. And I'm going to use transparent pixels and hit OK. And now it's trimmed all the way around. And then I'm going to check my final image size. So I will change the DPI. I don't want resample on because I don't want it to actually change the dimensions. I want to stay hard and strong the way the pixels are right now. Now I'm going to turn resample back on. Look at this in pixels. I'm going to put 4,500 because that's the largest I can possibly imagine anybody would ever need this. All right, let's hit OK. So it's resampling the image, and we're scaling down. It's always okay to go down. The real problem is just when we go up. So I'm going to export this as PNG. And I'm going to name it with my initials at the end, because that's what I do to let myself know that that's the good one. And now when you send this around, I mean, the thing to do is to actually put this somewhere that they can access it with no loss of quality. So I'm just going to put this in folder on the web here. So this is my free share folder. You can see I've done this a whole bunch for a lot of different people. And it says it's uploaded. I'm going to sort this and try to see modified. Okay, here's today. And then I'm just going to hit share. Share. I'm going to make it anyone with the link. Done. And then I'm going to share, copy that link. All right, and that's it. Hey, I hope that helped.